Does Martin Dubravka have just one game left as a Newcastle United player? And have Newcastle already got his lineup waiting to come in? Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video on this very cold, snowy day in Newcastle. Yes, I have got my hat on. Yes, I have got my hood on. I've in fact got two coats on. And I don't think I can't remember the last time I've worn gloves. So I'm either getting older or just softer. But either way, I thought I'd treat you guys to a little bit of a snowy background in today's video. Off the back of another massive win for Newcastle United, going down to the Spurs Stadium. Hasn't always been the most fun. I was there last season when there was train problems for the game yesterday as well. There was train problems when I went down a year ago. I think there was only about 5 of us in the away end, and then we got absolutely spanked. So it's nice to see that this time all of the Geordie nation who went down there got to see a great win. Alexander Isak gets on the board again. What is it, 9 goals in 7 games or something, 6 wins in a row for Newcastle. It's not too bad, is it? First game of the new year, hopefully we can push on. Big game on Tuesday, we'll talk about in a second. Can we get back to a cup final, a chance of winning some silverware and challenging for Europe? I mean, that would not be a bad 2025. But the topic of today's conversation is regarding the goalkeepers. God, it just never ends, this continuous goalkeeping story. Just when we thought, a couple of seasons ago when Nick Pope came in, we found our number one and we were ready to go and there will be no more trouble. Well, unfortunately, it just keeps on going, and this is off the back of what has been a fantastic spell for Martin Dubravka. You can talk about Newcastle finding form of late. I think there's obviously a few parts to that. I think Eddie Howe finally playing Tonali in the position he should be playing in, and Bruno and Joe Linton working with him perfectly. I think it's Lewis Hall really owning that position in the left back, and Dan Burn has just been phenomenal as well. And Alexander Isak turning it off. Sorry, I keep moving the camera because my hands are slipping because they're freezing. And Alexander Isak. So there's loads of components to it, but there's no doubt one of those components is Martin Dubravka. Had you told me, a month ago, 2 months ago, that putting Dubravka back in for Nick Pope would help us to go and win 6 games in a row, I would have told you to bog off. He was 36 now. He was undoubtedly, if you go along the line of Newcastle's best goalkeepers, he's up there as in terms of shot stopping and what he's done for us. He single-handedly saved us from relegation for a good few seasons. He's a fantastic goalkeeper, but last year he looked slow. He looked, for a better word, past it, to be honest, and was probably the reason, or a big part, or certainly a factor, in why we didn't actually get European football last season. So for you to tell me we're going to bring him back and he's going to now be the man to help us get European football, I think you probably would have gone mad. And oops, almost fell over there. It's not bad, is it? It is getting a little bit rainy, I must say. But yeah, it's been quite the transformation. And I wouldn't even say it's that he's got better shot stopping. It's bringing confidence and a bit of stability. And again, if you told me that man, like that Dubravka, who was letting goal after goal in last season, he would be the man to bring stability to our defensive line, I wouldn't have believed you. But having a goalkeeper who catches the ball, is just that little bit more technical, just fills you with that little bit of every time the ball comes in. And this is no disrespect to Nick Pope. I'm praying he comes back from his injury, his elbow's okay now. I've said this for a while, that I think Nick Pope looked like he's still been injured for quite some time. He doesn't catch the ball ever. And he doesn't seem to like diving to his left. And I think it's just because he's either having a little bit of trauma after an injury, scared of getting injured again, or he has a problem. And if you're the centre-back and every time the ball gets crossed in, you don't know if he's going to catch it or punch it or, you know, sit on it, like, that brings, like, unease. Similarly with passing the ball back, if you never know if he's going to kick it out, kick it left, you know, the ideal would be that Nick Pope this would be the perfect scenario. Nick Pope comes back from injury, feeling fresh, feeling fine, confidence is back, can catch the ball again, and Dubravka moves to Saudi Arabia. And that's no slant on Dubravka, but with just 6 months left on his deal, I'm going to say rumoured, because there's loads of fees flying around for Dubravka. I've heard 500 grand, and I think that's all right, to be honest. You can let me, well, hang on, depending. If Nick Pope's going to come back and be fit, then I think taking really any fee for Dubravka is a good fee to take, because in 6 months' time he's worth nothing. If the rumours, wild rumours, are true that he could be going for as much as 5, 6, 7 million, then absolutely snap their arm off, and we'll find a way through it with Nick Pope and our good old Greek international goalkeeper who can't get a minute of time, Vlachodimos. However, if we're going to sell Dubravka for 500 grand and Nick Pope isn't fit, then I would argue that we don't sell him, because even a few weeks ago I said just let him go, we'll work it out, Nick Pope will work it out. But is letting Dubravka go for such a small amount of money when we're playing so well? You know what happens is we don't sell him in January, he starts to have a stinker in February, and then we wish we'd just let him go anyway. So really there's no win into this situation. I think the simple solution is, if there's a good money offer on the table, even 500,000, I think it's time for Dubravka to leave. As good as he's been, he hasn't had to do loads. But as I've mentioned already, that's not really why we've done better. We haven't done better because he's suddenly started saving loads of shots. Is Dubravka, is the defence playing better? A direct resolution from Dubravka being there? Or have the defence actually just sorted themselves out? Trippier started playing again. I think Trippier's a massive help. I appreciate that he's a bit older now and he can't last a full game because he's got cramps and injuries and all sorts. But I think he does help us defend. I think he does help us organise. Like, you could argue that although Trippier wasn't there against Spurs and we still won that one. So there's so many little factors to this. Sven Botman's on his way back as well. And it's starting to absolutely chuck it down. So I should probably end this video here. But links are flying for Trafford to be the replacement for Dubravka. Whether Burnley would want to let him go or not, I'm not sure. They did bring in goalkeepers in the summer because it was thought that Burnley were gonna sell Trafford to us for, well, what was thought to be 15 million, until Burnley pulled the rug and went, "Now I want 20." And in fairness to Newcastle and Eddie Howe, they went, "Nah, not bothered." So Burnley ended up with as many goalkeepers as we've got. But and Trafford's got some great numbers for the. It's a hard one because he's a young goalie, and really what we need is someone to be good now. So you let me know your thoughts down below on Dubravka, on Trafford, on the snow, and on Newcastle United so far this season. Big game on Tuesday. Could that be Dubravka's last game? I think it might be. You know what? I don't. I think Newcastle aren't. We're not quick enough. We don't sort things out quickly. I reckon Dubravka will go, but I think it'll become the end of the January. I think they'll take their time. I think Nick Pope might be back fit and on the bench for a couple of games, and then right at the dying death, we will sell Dubravka on the last day of January, where we can't even spend the money. That sounds more like us. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this impromptu, I say impromptu. I was out for a walk and I thought it makes for a good background. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you've enjoyed this video, you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you on Tuesday, probably. Unless there's more January news tomorrow, which is highly likely. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.